is, well, I'll let you introduce yourself there, Michael.
Good evening. Mike Montalto with Costas Engineering, here this evening on behalf of Charlie Fox and with Ann Riley as well for the Ridge Commons PDD amendment, which involves 4 properties on the south side of Ridge Road, bordered by Shoecraft to the west side of the site. The property addresses are 985, 991, 987, and 1013 Ridge Road. The 4 properties add up to approximately 26 acres of land that are comprised of medium intensity commercial and medium high density residential zoning properties. In December of 2019, we received approval for a PDD, which included the ordinance was a little different relative to the PDD ordinance. This was also one of the first PDDs that was approved in the town. The PDD was allowed for storage use and senior living, which were not allowed in the medium commercial by right at the time. COVID hit, and our users for the storage and the senior living facility went away. We subsequently have picked it back up and made application to this board last fall for an amendment of the proposal of the PDD, and have been working with town staff primarily regarding some updates that have happened in the PDD ordinance, and the fact that the interpretation was that the PDD should not include residential uses. So the map has been amended, changed, revised, what we've submitted to change the boundary of what would be the PDD. Instead of it being 26 acres, which was the entire holdings, which was both medium commercial and residential, it's been changed to be approximately 18.9 acres of the land, and only comprises that the portions of the property that would be commercial use in accordance with the amendments that have been made to the PDD ordinance in town. Uses that are being presented on the plan from a commercial standpoint are conceptual, which are intended to demonstrate what full build-out capacity would be, of all general commercial uses that would be consistent with the underlying zone. That allows, in essence, the planning board the ability to use discretion relative to the uses, as long as the intensity does not change dramatically from what is being proposed today. So the map has been amended really to correct the fact that the approved PDD map included residential uses, and we've now amended that so that the PDD before you really only is addressing commercial lands. It has approximately 33% of green space. We've looked at all the bulk requirements, and it meets the spirit and intent of the current PDD ordinance, and that it allows for reduced setbacks, shared parking, those kind of things, but doesn't change the overall what would have to happen if they were individual lots. That's an overview of the changes that we've made. I guess at this point I would conclude my formal comments and turn it over for questions that the board may have.
Yeah, this is interesting because since nobody from the public is taking, I'm going to close the public hearing and then open it up to the town board discussion. And within that, Mike, you might want to stay there because if there is questions, we'll probably there. But this will be outside. The public hearing is officially closed. Do any of the board members in attendance have any questions for Mike?
I'm a little confused, Mike, I'm sorry, there's so much history to this property. I'm looking at 991 on this map, which is behind the existing commercial uses on Ridge Road. And that site is approximately, did you say 27 acres or 26?
So the PDD incorporates all of even what's about, the former Rite Aid and Wendy's home. So
The whole thing?
all of this is 26 acres.
Okay,
The PDD limit used to come down and follow all of it. There's a zoning line here. This is commercial, this was residential. So we amended the PDD limit to only include the portion that would be.
and that's what we're looking at, is all commercial.
Yes, this is all commercial.
And then what about the portion south of that?
We have no development
Yeah.
plan for that at this point.
It's a great question, and actually, and Josh may be able to help on this, Kyle may be able to help. I appreciate the map that you have up there that's, but on the screens for anybody in attendance or watching this later. Josh Artuzo, the brown is MC, is that correct? Zoning,
Yes.
which is medium commercial?
Medium intensity commercial.
MC.
MC.
Purple, very pretty purple here, is MHR,
Correct.
which is,
Medium high density residential.
okay. So the 991, along with this, what is it, 1030 or to the right of that, to the east, this is part of this 26 acres. There's purple and there's brown in your 26 acres. So really there's a zoning line that goes through the middle of this developer's 26 acres. Okay. Now here's the thing, and like Mike said, I'm not sure if it was one of our first PDDs back in 2019, I don't have that history, but I do know this. Our DPW department, who was involved in the process of issuing that PDD, nobody from that department in that 2019 is here anymore. Josh Artuzo is the community development director. He was very instrumental in the last couple of months in here on this. The town legal, who was here in 2019, they're not here anymore. Kyle's been very helpful on this. The town board, and really, Patty, I think you're the only one that was here in 2019 prior. Here's a revelation for everybody. We're all human. They made a mistake in 2019. And the beauty of that, and when I say they made the mistake, is that, yeah, they issued the PDD, but by the technical terms of the town code, you can't have a PDD on a residential zoning. It's as simple as that.
Well, you can if it's senior.
And I gotta tell you something, you might wanna go up there, because anybody listening to this, they do not hear you, they do not see you. Charlie, if you wanna go up and you guys wanna do a course line, go ahead.
Just to clarify, because it is the
And
PDD.
if you wanna go on the microphone, and so we can,
Yeah, the PDD allows senior housing.
Does not. It did not.
No, it did, because that was a senior housing project.
Alright.
It was supposed to.
so I wanna make sure, and I'm trying to help you here, okay? Let's not adjudicate this or litigate this now, because we don't have to. The bottom line is, the PDD is appropriate for MC. It's not an appropriate thing in our code or law for MHR.
Correct.
So we are correcting what happened in 2019. That is what they are here asking us to do. It is really as simple as that. They are not coming here saying, what do you think about this 20-story tower we want to build? Or we want to build a nuclear power plant. They're not going to do that, okay? The first thing they have to do before they get any, Charlie's laughing, before they get any design of what to do on this property, the first thing we need to do is get the skeleton of it correct, which the PDD needs to be truncated back to be correct, to be on MC only. The law and just common sense, I'd like to think, Kyle and Ann, gives us the ability to correct errors. it was an innocent error. I think I'm not gonna sit here, well, they don't work here anymore, none of those people, so we're not gonna take them out for public floggings. God knows when I'm gone, they'll find a million mistakes that I've made, and hopefully you easily can correct them. This is an easy correction. Would you say that, Kyle? And I don't wanna ask Ann, because Ann will say it's easy, but she represents the client, you represent the town.
Yeah, as we discussed, and the developer and the town is an easy fix and solves what is the prevailing issue here, and allow the developer to move forward.
Right. What the developer moves forward within, we don't know. I can't wait to see when you come back here, after now.
It's important to note too that the impetus behind this is that we're unable currently really to make any site plan application for the portions of the commercial property because the PED is in error. So anybody who's been interested in commercial development that even follows the zoning ordinance has not been able to make application for site plan approval.
It's really that simple. I want to make sure I went a little deep in the well on this, as far as explaining it, because we don't have the full board tonight. And in 2 weeks, May 15th, not June, I assume that we'll have a full board and that John Cahill will be here. I will ask him to read the minutes of this, that Deneen does a wonderful job on. And I will ask him also to watch the video and audio of this part of it, so that when we do come back here on May 15th, this should be a relatively simple resolution to pass and we move on. But I guess,
Question.
Sure.
Quick question. To do this, do you have to subdivide the property? So it's two separate parcels, or can the PDD just be to the limit of zoning without subdividing?
I think that question is for Kyle or Josh, and once again, all due respect to Mike and to Ann, you're the client. I would like the town's answer on that.
It does not require a subdivision right now. Pending the developer's plans in the future, it may at a future point in time, but simply for the purpose of the PDD, it does not.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the board?
Does it need public input or anything, or are we all done with that?
This is the public hearing, and to be honest with you, I don't know, I can't figure out board meetings, and I've been doing this 5.5 years. I was somewhat, a little bit stunned that nobody from the public was here to speak at a very advertised public hearing, because usually some people, there's 45,000 people in town, will come and say something. So, but that's why we wait for the public input, and we try best as we can to not do a resolution on the same night as the public hearing, because that's not a good look for us. We want to hear what the public has to say. We give them that forum of a public hearing. It was tonight. It's closed. I think we're done on this agenda item.
And for anyone who's tuning in after we closed it, it's closed because there was no one here to comment.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ann and Mike. Charlie, always good to see you.
Thanks for your time.